Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Today, we'll be talking about William Morris. Morris was really an artistic polymath, known not only for his popular decorative textile work, but also as a painter, a poet, an architect, a political activist. William Morris was born in 1834, the third of nine children, and Morris lived something of an idyllic lifestyle as a child in his family's large country house near Epping Forest in Essex. Surviving letters from this period, written when Morris was as young as 14, reveal a deep love and critical appreciation of architecture and its relationship to nature. The sights and hobbies of his childhood would be carried with Morris for the rest of his life, including his design work, and standing as points of repeated nostalgic return in his writing. So today we're going to focus on his gorgeous decorative textile designs and wallpapers that would really still fit into any house today. But as I kind of flip through his different designs, I'm going to give a background on his whole life and career. So he actually started out in school studying theology and planned to become a priest at his mother's wishes. However, within less than a year, his outlook on life had changed drastically. His reading in the library shifted from religious matters to history and ecclesiastical architecture, and eventually to art criticism and poetry. On graduating in 1856, Morris moved to London to become an architect, a change of direction that was badly received by his family. His career soon took another turn when he made the acquaintance of Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who later became his mentor and really inspired Morris to start painting in the pre-Raphaelite style. Morris was swept up in a wave of creativity and in the company of artists whose work focused on nature and the romantic chivalry of the medieval past. These ideals were ones that Morris himself had championed since his childhood, and at last he really found himself in the company where he was free to explore those ideals. Encouraged by Rossetti and another artist friend, Burne-Jones, Morris abandoned his architectural career and began painting in the pre-Raphaelite style. In 1857, Morris, Rossetti, and Burne-Jones returned to Oxford to paint murals on the walls of the Union Library. The same year, Morris met Jane Burden, a beautiful working-class girl who began to model for his and Rossetti's paintings. Morris fell in love with her, and by 1859, they were married. Around this period, Morris's creative imagination was leading him beyond painting. He was interested in how the aesthetics and ethics of the pre-Raphaelites, a love of nature, medieval aesthetics, Gothic architecture, and a hatred of mechanization, might be applied across a wide range of art forms and applied crafts. Along with his artistic partners and friends, he built the Red House, a country house for him and Jane to raise a family in. Red House is an architectural masterpiece encapsulating what became known as the arts and crafts aesthetic and movement. After the house was built, Morris and his friends decided to decorate the interiors themselves, establishing through creative collaboration many of the principles of arts and crafts interior design. Burne-Jones designed the stained glass windows, while Morris created the murals with help from Rossetti and other members of the wider pre-Raphaelite circle. Around this time, Morris began to focus his attention on wallpaper and textile designs, which made him famous, some of which still survive in the house today. These designs here, and previous wallpapers that I've flipped through, focus on nature, usually flowers and plants. They're highly decorative and very pleasing to the eye. This collaborative effort led to the founding of Morris, Marshall, Faulkner & Co., known as The Firm, an art and design company that championed hand craftsmanship and traditional techniques with a strongly medievalist aesthetic. The firm set up offices in London and began to gain great commercial success. However, around this time, Morris's personal fortunes took a turn for the worst, and in 1865, he was forced to sell Red House. As well, his marriage was disintegrating. Though he and Jane had lived happily with their daughters in Red House for years, she had recently struck up what became a long-term affair with Morris's friend and mentor, Rossetti. Morris took solace in hard work and metered verse, and by the 1860s, he had become one of the most famous poets in England. In 1871, he moved to a country house in Kelmscott in Oxfordshire with his wife, Jane, children, and strangely enough, Rossetti. It's believed that Morris reluctantly allowed Rossetti to join them at Kelmscott for his wife's sake, a very generous and open-minded gesture, if I do say so myself. In 1874, Morris set up Morris & Co., a company that continued trading 50 years after his death. And although the company was liquidated in 1940, the British fabric and wallpaper manufacturer Sanderson & Sons purchased the design licenses. And so Morris's designs are actually still sold under his name today. Anthropologie, for example, sells Morris & Co. wallpaper. And you can also purchase a tablecloth from Williams-Sonoma with a Morris & Co. textile pattern. Here is our CEO, AJ Patel, outside of the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, where many of Morris's works are housed. And inside the museum, there's most notably the Green Dining Room, later renamed to the Morris Room, seen here. It wasn't solely Morris's commission, but included the help of many of his friends and contemporaries. Architect Philip Webb designed the window frames, Morris the geometric and floral designs of the plaster ceiling, and Burne-Jones and other pre-Raphaelite artists of their group collaborated on the project as well. Most notably, Morris's legacy and influence involves the arts and crafts movement. However, being that his work and success spanned so many mediums, he's inspired writers, painters, craftsmen, politicians, architects, and many more with his powerful ideologies and masterful artistry. Thank you.